um, a very revered saint called Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya is known as the medium of the Guru lineage that we see today. There's a verse that goes as Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Sadashiva Samarambham, the ever first Guru and disciple relationship that was identified or was established was between Lord Shiva and his consort, goddess Parvati. So there started the Guru disciple lineage. And then Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Adi Shankaracharya was the one who established the 4 ashrams in the south, west, north and east part of India. And all the ashrams, the monastic disciples, they all follow that lineage. They subscribe to all the ashrams from the South India subscribe to the southern Sringeri Mutt that he established. All the ones in the Western India, they subscribe to the Dwaraka Mutt, and then East India, the Puri Mutt, and North India, the Joshi Mutt. So that's how Shankaracharya started the Guru lineage. Asmadacharya Padyantam. So it starts with Lord Shiva through Shankaracharya, ends with our own Guru, who we consider as our spiritual master. One day Guru Paramparam. I bow down, I pay my respects to that Guru lineage. So Adi Shankaracharya was probably one of the most scholarly being who lived on the face of earth, who compiled and who compiled so many of Sanskrit texts, the Indian traditional texts, gave his commentaries on them. So you have all these very difficult Sanskrit texts, and he gave commentaries on them in Sanskrit itself, which is again very difficult to understand. So that was his level at which he was. So Bhaja Govindam, you say Shankaracharya was always a proponent of Vedanta, of the path of knowledge, and in the very towards the end of his physical life, they say Shankaracharya, along with his disciples, they were walking on the streets of Varanasi, Kashi, and they saw an old man sitting there and trying to memorize and learn Sanskrit grammar and all the technical Sanskrit stuff. And they say Shankaracharya just commenting then, hey you, what's the point at this time trying to waste your time just learning Sanskrit grammar? Rather, you call out to the name of God. That will probably, the effort that you're putting in this, if you put it in that will probably benefit you better. So that's how the first verse started of these set of 31 verses in Bhaja Govindam. The first verse goes as Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. Hey, you fool! Call out to Govinda, call out the divine's name. Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. You fool! Call out to his name rather than Samprapte Sanhite Kale, when the final time comes, when the final test in your life comes, which he's pointing to death. When that comes, nahi rakshati dukrin karane. This Sanskrit grammar will not help you then. What will help you then is your goodness in you, or the devotion that you have in you. So, and then Shankaracharya contributed 12 more verses. And then his disciples contributed the rest of the verses, and then together the 31 verses form the Bhaja Govindam text. So we'll discuss the 27th and the 30th text, because we are all here in for a spiritual retreat. We are definitely at least a little serious about spirituality, otherwise we wouldn't be taking trouble coming the whole day here missing TV and outing and all that and spending time here, we definitely we have some interest in it. So we look into these two verses which talks about spiritual practice. What should be our spiritual practice? How should be our spiritual practice? So we'll discuss the 27th and the 30th verse. So the 27th verse you have. I just asked him to Google.
Yeah.
Okay, 27th verse. So the 27th verse goes as Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dhyeyam Sripati Rupa Majasram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dina Janayacha Vittam. Is not connecting?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not connected to the computer, that's why it gives screen. It's connected? You want to unplug it and plug it again? Okay. Just unplug it from the computer. Can you zoom it in a little bit? Okay, so the verse goes as Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dhyeyam Sripati Rupa Majasram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dina Janayacha Vittam. The first line goes as Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Geyam means chant or sing. Sing what? Or chant what? Gita and Nama Sahasram. Gita. There is Bhagavad Gita, the Indian scriptures. The Indian scriptures contain very many different Gitas. Bhagavad Gita is the most popular one. Gita, the goodness or the peculiarity of the Indian scriptures is it was never like an advice to anyone. Most of the Indian scriptures, or literally all the Indian scriptures, are recorded dialogues. So there would be a learned one advising it to someone else, and that was recorded, and that forms a scripture. So Bhagavad Gita was a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. That was recorded and today exists in form of Bhagavad Gita. So there are many other Gitas. There is Ashtavakra Gita, there is this Gita, there is based on whoever advised it. In this, Bhagavan himself advised it, so it became Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is one of the Gitas. People subscribe to various different Gitas. All of them talk about the essence of the Vedas. So Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Nama Sahasram? 1,000 names. Sahasram Namam, Nama Sahasram mean the same. One of the strength of Sanskrit language is you interchange the words, the meaning of the sentence doesn't change. When I say my name is Ramanand, Ramanand is my name, is fine. But if I say Ramanand name is mine, or Ramanand name is mine, mine is Ramanand name, doesn't make sense, right? But in Sanskrit, the structures, the link between subject, object, and the adjectives and all the formations is so well defined that even if you change the order, the meaning remains the same. If I say Mama Nama Ramananda, Nama Mama Ramananda, Ramananda Nama Mama, Mama Ramananda Nama, all mean the same. So Nama Sahasram, Sahasranamam, it's the same. The 1,000 names. Again, 1,000 names, there are so many 1,000 names. There are 1,000 names, there are 330 million forms. Literally, there are 108 names and 1,000 names for most of these forms. There are 108 names for Lord Jesus. There is 108 names for Buddha. 108 names is just trying to reflect on the good qualities that they had. So, the Bhagavad Gita and the 1,000 names. Bhagavad Gita, the speciality or the interesting thing about Bhagavad Gita is there is this, it happens right at the ashram. Which ashram? Not in an ashram, right? In a battlefield. Of all the places, it happened in a battlefield right in the middle of the two enemy armies. So we have the Pandava army, the righteous ones, and the Kaurava army is the unrighteous one on the other side. So Krishna is the charioteer of Arjuna on the righteous part. And then right before the war is about to, they declare the war start, they blow the conch. Before that happens, he just starts riding the chariot right towards the enemies, and right in the middle, he stops there, and that's, of all the places, that's where he advises Arjuna on what should be our attitude towards life. Because Arjuna was kind of faltering. He saw all his cousins on the other side standing, and people he respected all in the enemy army, and he was thinking, I'm going to go on a war with them. Is it right what I'm doing? And he had all these questions coming up, and Krishna wanted to reassure him of all the duties that he had, the responsibilities that he had to live. So he goes right in the middle, and there is where he advised him the Bhagavad Gita, how we should be living up to the responsibilities that we take. So what I understand from this is, anytime we need to understand the scriptures, the best place or best time to do it is when we are right in middle of the two extremes that we are. A good example is, when we are very happy, we don't have time to understand scriptures because we don't have time. We are so happy, we are so busy celebrating our happiness, and when we are too sad, we just not receptive. It's just not possible to do it then, right? Yes? Anyone, the Falcons won in the semi-finals. Before the final game, you were very happy. Did you go to the room and start reading Bhagavad Gita because you were happy? It just doesn't happen. And when Falcons lost, you're like, oh, everything, I want to go and read the Bhagavad Gita now. Doesn't strike there, right? It's like a father, he once got a Christmas gift for his boy, his son. And he bought him a drone, a flying drone, a toy. And I hope I'm not creating trouble for the fathers here. This boy got a drone. And the father, he opened it, he was so excited, he really wanted to have a drone to fly it. When he saw that, he was so excited, he wanted to fly it immediately. And the father told him, wait, you better read the user manual and see what are the do's and don'ts, and then do it because this is going to go out of control. He says, no daddy, I know how to do it, it's so obvious. He just starts flying it. And the drone just takes off well, starts flying up and up, far and farther and farther. And then, all of a sudden, on his panel, he gets reading after 20-25 minutes that it is running out of battery. And now he is not able to control the drone because of the low battery, the communication doesn't happen well. And now he panics. Then he immediately goes, tries to read the manual and sees there is any escape sequence. Is there something that he could do when the battery is low? Is there some way to land the drone safely in case of low battery? And then because he's in that panic mode, he's not able to find it, and he gets all the more agitated. Our situation is more or less like that. When we are very happy, we just don't care, or we don't have time to go through the manual. All these scriptures, all these teachings are all manuals for us to what are the do's and don'ts we should be doing in our lives. And when we are sad, we are so panicked, we are so much in anxiety, we just, anything, it's very difficult to stuff it into our head, right? When we are very sad, you can't go and propose a Bhagavad Gita or Bible to some person who's extremely sad. At that moment, what he needs is consolation, right? So the Bhagavad Gita happens right in the middle, signifying or pointing out to us that the best time to think of or best way to understand the scriptures is do it when we are right in the middle. We are not in either of the extremes. When we have time. Today, we are neither happy nor sad. Now, I go longer, I talk for very long, then the sadness will come up. But that's different. But we are neither happy nor sad. That's why, as we discuss, things may go into our head. That should be the first thing we need to have when we say Gayam Gita. It's not about just mechanically singing or chanting Gita or the 1,000 names. We need to understand the significance that they try to convey to us. And when is the best time to do it? When we are more even-minded, when we are more, we are able to maintain equanimity. That's the best time to focus on the scriptures. And the 1,000 names, like I mentioned, there are so many 1,000 names. So Lalita Sahasranama on the Divine Mother is what we usually chant. Some chant Vishnu Sahasranama, many chant Shiva's 108 names, many do Shani, Ashtotaram, and there's so many different such nama. If you have noticed the back cover of the Archana book, there's always Amma saying there, right? What does it say? Those who chant Lalita Sahasranama
will never be lack of food, shelter.
The Divine Mother will always protect those who chant the Lalita Sahasranama with devotion every day. They will never face shortage of food and basic necessities and will gain spiritual growth. In Amma's own words. So, even practically thinking about it, to chant 1,000 names every day is not a very simple thing, right? Chanting the name itself takes about, depends on how fast we chant, at least takes 30 to 35 minutes, right? And to sit down for 35 minutes and to learn the 1,000 names, again, is a daunting task. So when we go through this process, we automatically are cultivating attitude of or qualities like patience, determination, many such things, right? To learn and chant 1,000 names is not an easy thing. That itself is going to help us. So when we are in traffic and we're going to be delayed by another 45 minutes. Like, what's the big deal? In ashram, when I go for Archana, I sit there for 50 minutes. 45 minutes is nothing. That could be one way of thinking, because we have developed that attitude of, or that quality of patience, forbearance, dedication, etc. So, even on practical sense, chanting them on a regular basis, they help us cultivate these good qualities. So, Gayam Gita Nama Sahasram, Dhyayam Shripati Rupamajasram. Dhyayam, to meditate. Meditate what? Shripati, the supreme Rupam, the supreme form, Ajasram, all the time. Every moment of our life, we should meditate on the form of the Supreme. What does it mean, meditate in the form of the Supreme? Just sit cross-legged and meditate 24 hours? Yes?
No.
Yes? No, that's not what it means. What does it mean? Like in Amma's own words, meditation, of course, sitting down with your eyes closed is one of the most effective ways of meditation. But anything and everything that we do it with Shraddha, we do it with one-pointedness and dedication, that becomes meditation. Anything and everything that we do becomes meditation when we do it with dedication and one-pointedness. So, meditate, make any and every moment of your life or our life, we should make it into a meditation. Dhyayam Shripati Rupamajasam. So, see the divine's form in any and everything that we see. When you say see the divine's form in anything and everything that we see, in Amma's example, when Amma was little, Amma had to drop out when she was a 5th grade dropout because Amma's biological mother fell ill. She had to take care of her family, the daily chores. She had to clean the house, do the laundry, do the dishes, cook, all these things, feed the cattle, the cow, all of them. And she was then only 10 or 11 years old. And if you ask Amma, if you read Amma's biography also, Amma always was so joyful doing that because Amma says whenever she washed clothes, she always held in her mind that she's washing Krishna's clothes. When she cooked, she always thought she's cooking for Krishna. Whenever she cleaned the house, she thought she was preparing the house for Krishna's arrival. And thus, any and every moment of hers became a meditation. She was setting an example through that. So, it's not about always having your eyes closed and meditating. It's about anything that we do, convert that into meditation. When you drive, rather than focusing on the mobile phone, focus on the road. That becomes meditation. Never miss any stop sign. That becomes a meditation. Never miss any red light. That becomes a meditation. When you go grocery shopping, never miss something that, all the things that you need, make it a point, you definitely get it. Don't miss. Constantly remembering the list, constantly focusing on the aisle and getting each and everything that you need becomes a meditation. Any and every moment could be transformed into meditation. So, Dhyayam Shripati Rupam Ajasram. Third one, Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Neyam, direct. Direct what? Chittam. Direct your mind. Direct your mind where? Sajjana Sange. Direct your mind or carry your mind into company of good people. Sajjana Sange. Always maintain a good company. What does it mean? Look for all those who are good and get rid of all those who are not good. Right? Right? Yes?
That's not possible.
That's not possible. That's not what is meant here too. Amma shares this example of an old man who is his 100th birthday, and he claimed himself to be the happiest person in the world, and he claimed that he had no enemies at all because he was so happy because he had no enemies at all and he had no problems at all. So during his 100th birthday celebrations, the press came and they were interviewing him, asking him, how are you so happy? How come you have no enemies at all? He says, I'm happy, I have no problems, I have no enemies because any and every enemy that existed, I killed them. That's not what we want. When you say, Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam, maintain good company, any and every person has goodness in him. Amma says even a die-hard criminal, when he sees his son or a daughter, he will have an affection, a compassion that comes. Amma says even a broken clock shows the right time at least twice a day. Right? So anything and everything has goodness in it. So it's not about wiping someone off from your life. Rather, maintain a company with that person when he or she exhibits good qualities. We may have a very standard problem many of the satsang teenagers face is they say, I have so many good friends in the college, but then I'm compelled to go out with them partying and drinking. There's nothing wrong in maintaining a good friendship with them. Just Amma says when they go to drink, at that time probably you don't need their company. So it's not about telling because he drinks, he's a bad boy, I don't want to be with him, or she's a bad girl, I don't want to be with her. When they go to drink, probably you should avoid the company. That's all. So always expose yourself to good company. So The first one, Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. Chant and understand the significance of the Gita and the 1,000 names. Dhyeyam Shripati Rupam Ajasram. Make every moment of your life into meditation. 3. Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. Maintain good company. Expose yourselves to good company. That's the whole point of having a satsang. Right? And 4. Deyam Deena Janayacha Vittam. Deyam, to give. To give what? Deena Janayacha Vittam. To give Vittam, wealth. To who? Deena Jana. To those, the downtrodden, those who are in need. Any and every person is actually known for not what he possesses, rather what he gives. Mahatma Gandhi, everyone remembers him even today because he gave the idea of independence through non-violence. Why is Martin Luther King remembered? Because he gave this idea of equality. Why is Michael Jackson remembered? Because he gave the world music that they enjoy. People are remembered for what they give more than what they actually have. Even rich people, Forbes, they calculate the richest people in the world. One of the main criteria is how much tax they give. So there also it is based on how much tax they give, based on how much they give, is where they are. That's just one criteria, of course. But how much you give decides how rich you are, even in a materialistic sense. It's how much you give that defines how great you are. So giving is a big part of life and our spiritual growth. A good example of giving, about this saint who was in northern Turkey, they say. And he once found out that the house, a few houses away from his house, the family there was living in dire poverty. And there were 3 daughters, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if the story is wrong. 3 daughters, and the parents were planning to sell those daughters into marriage so that they could meet up with their financial needs. And when this person found it out, he felt so bad. They say he gave all his wealth away to that family just to save those 3 daughters. And that act of giving is still remembered today. Right? Am I right? Right? When do we remember it? When do we remember it? On December 25th. Right? What's his name? Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas is later changed to Santa Claus. They say it started with that act of giving. And probably Christmas is one of the biggest celebration in the world today. Every part of the world, every country celebrates Christmas, and it's a celebration of that giving that happens. Of course, the main thing that we remember is Jesus Christ's birth, and we associate this big quality of giving along with that day. And even today we remember Saint Nicholas in form of Santa Claus. There's another story. There are 2 Saint Nicholas, one from Eastern Europe also. So, but at least whatever be it, it's a very inspiring thing that we did. So giving is a big part of it. So first one, Geyam, to sing and understand the scriptures. 2, meditate. You're already meditating? 2, meditate. 3, good company. Yes? Are you done? Should we just stop? And 4,
Giving away significant wealth.
Giving to others, whoever is in need. So these are the external spiritual practices. These are focused on our outside, they call it the Bahiranga sadhana, the outward, the external sadhana. And there is Antaranga sadhana, there is inward sadhana, which the 30th verse talks about. So the Bahiranga sadhana is the scriptures, chanting and understanding them, meditation, good company, and giving. The 30th verse goes as, should we go to the 30th verse? Should we break? I just see people like, when is it going to stop? Do we want to do it or not? Have a show of hands, those who want to do it. Okay. Whenever I ask such question, I hope you don't raise your hand, then you can break. The 30th verse goes as pranayama, pratyahara, nitya viveka vichara, pranayama pratyaharam nitya viveka vicharam, japya sameta samadhividanam kurvavadhanam mahatavadhanam. So the first one goes as, first line is pranayamam pratyaharam. Pranayamam. What is pranayama? Right? Controlling your breath. That is, again, like meditation, sitting down with your eyes closed is just one form of meditation. Similarly, controlling your breath is just one form of pranayama. Prana, as such, means the subtle force that acts within our body so as to have our body function. There are so many things. The heart beats, the lungs function, the kidneys function, the stomach digests, the intestines do their job, the liver does its job. There has to be some force, some energy that acts behind it, right? So that's what is referred to as prana. The force, the subtle force that acts within our body so as to execute its functions. So pranayama, there are 5 types of prana in each human body. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, and samana. There are 5 subtle forces. The prana is a subtle force that helps the functioning of the body between the mouth and the chest. So all the functions that happen, the subtle force that keeps the function going is called prana. Apana is below the navel. All the function below the navel, be it the excretion, reproduction, many such organs that exist below the navel level. Apana is the force behind it. Prana, apana, vyana. Vyana is all pervasive. Systems like the nervous system, the arteries, veins, the blood circulation, all of them. The force behind that is referred to as vyana. Prana, apana, vyana, udana. Udana is the force that acts from the mouth upwards, all the way to the brain, the eyes, the nose, the sense organs that we have. That is udana. And samana, chest till the navel. So we have all these, so chest till the navel, heart, lungs, liver, intestines, everything. So there are these 5 forces. So pranayama, ayama is to control. To control these 5 forces is what is known as pranayama. So when we control the breathing, when we control the prana, automatically it kind of radiates and controls, brings the other pranas, the other 4 pranas also under control. That is one of it. Also, things like what we eat, how we react, the words that we use, how we talk, all those also affect each one of our pranas. You're driving and someone else is erratically driving. You shout at that person and that person shouts back at you. What happens? Heart rate goes up, our breathing becomes more irregular. What happens? That particular prana, the prana which is between the mouth and the chest, is affected by it because now it has to work more so as to bring things under control. We overeat. Instead of eating 2 slices of bread or 5 slices of bread, we eat 25 slices of bread. What happens? Udana now has to deal with it, right? It goes out of control. We keep listening to a lot of loud music or earphones always in our 24 hours earphones. Probably the next day we'll wake up with a headache. In that case, Udana is affected. So anything and everything that we do needs to be under control, has to be done in a controlled way. That is what pranayama actually means. Anything that we do, the way we talk, what we talk, how we deal with every situation, what we eat, all of them factor to pranayama. So the first one is pranayama, second one is pratyahara. Pratyahara is to draw your senses inward. And that is also part of pranayama, to control your senses. Pranayama, pratyahara, nitya viveka vichara. Nitya, eternal, anitya, uneternal. Viveka vichara. Viveka, to have discernment, right? Discrimination, spiritual discrimination. Vichara, thoughts. So have thoughts that discriminate or discern in the right way of what is true, what is not true. We need to understand things in terms of what is that points to understanding the fundamental principle behind anything and everything that we experience. We eat brownie. We eat a brownie. Brownie is good. What is what is the specialty of brownie? How does it taste? Sweet. We eat donut. It is sweet. We eat the brownie. We finish eating the brownie. Does the brownie exist? No. But sweetness exists. Sweetness still exists, right? You eat the donut is gone. The donut doesn't exist, but sweetness still exists, right? So what are we actually attached to? To the brownie or to the sweetness? To the sweetness. Brownie, donuts, corn, sweet corn, all of them are different forms through which we experience the sweetness. So we should have that discernment on what are we actually experiencing. We're definitely experiencing the brownie or the donut, but what we're actually experiencing is that sweetness. We need to have that viveka vichara. We need to have that right discrimination on what is true, what is not true. We may have a car today, BMW, which is beautiful. After 10 years, will you love that car exactly the same way? Probably not. If you do, others will think there is something wrong with you, right? Yes? Because BMW or the car is not nitya. It's not eternal. It is good today, tomorrow it may not be good. We may have a favorite actor or actress because she looks beautiful or he looks handsome, but after 20 years, he may not remain your favorite actor because he may not look as good or she may not look as good as 20 years ago. So what we like is the actor, not that person. So we need to have the right discernment. Always make decisions based on that understanding. Nitya, anitya, viveka vichara. Yes? So the first one was pranayama, controlling of the prana. 2, pratyahara, to control your senses. 3, always exercise right discrimination. Understand what is true, what is not true. Nityanitya viveka vichara. Japya sameta samadhi vidhanam. Japya sameta Samadhi. What is Samadhi? Close your eyes and you don't move at all. You are in Samadhi. Is that true? Sleep. Sleep is actually a form of Samadhi. Samadhi, sama in Sanskrit means equal. There is no difference. So it refers to a stage wherein you just see no difference. When you are asleep, your best friend comes and stands in front of you. Will you react? You will not react. Your worst enemy comes and stands in front of you. Will you react? You will not. So it is an example of, it is not actually Samadhi. You should be able to do that when you are awake. That is Samadhi, a state where there is no difference. So one of the ways to do that is Japya, through Japa, Japya Sameta. Through Japa, try to get to a state of Samadhi. What is Japa? Chanting of the mantra. We all have mantra and we keep repeating it. Like I mentioned during the meditation, Amma says, chanting the mantra is one of the best ways or effective ways to keep your mind focused. Because your mind, the very nature of the mind is to process some thought or the other. The mind has to process it. So when we chant, what do? We have a thought that is coming up, which is your mantra. And what will be the next thought? Mantra. What is the next thought? The mantra. What is the next thought? The mantra. Slowly, you're training your mind to remain in a particular in a particular pattern. Whereas when you don't chant your mantra, when you're in normal situation, your mind gets a thought. What is going to be the next thought? You don't know. What is going to be the next thought? You don't know. And because you don't know, all the chaos is created inside the mind. So chanting the mantra is one of the best ways to keep your mind focused, because it knows what is next. And when you know what is next, then there is no anxiety. So Japya Sameta, through Japa, try to get to a state of Samadhi. Samadhi Vidhanam. Kurvavadhanam, Mahatavadhanam. Kurvavadhanam, Avadhanam with due importance. Do it urgently. Kurvavadhanam. Do it with, what is the term? I'm not getting the term. Do it, not urgently, do it without fail. What is it?
Care.
Do it with care, exactly. Do it with care. Kurvavadhanam, Mahatavadhanam. It is very important. It's important. It is very important. They are stressing on the importance of these practices. What are the practices? Pranayama, controlling the prana, controlling the senses, to exercise right discrimination between what is true, what is untrue. Japa, chanting, and getting to a state wherein there is no difference remains. Do it. Very importantly, it's extremely needed that we do it. So this is Antaranga sadhana, the inward sadhana. The others were outward Bahiranga sadhana. So just sitting through this discussion itself, you've exercised so much of your patience, forbearance. So you definitely, this retreat will benefit you, because like I said, going back, if you're stuck in traffic, you'll think I sat through his talk. Now sitting through this traffic is nothing. So let's pray to our most beloved Amma that we are able to live up to each of these sadhana, and we're able to at least get a little bit of each of it, and we grow it all the more through our spiritual practices. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. So we just sing one bhajan and conclude the morning session. We just do the